If you're new, I'm Jackson. I'm 23. I'm a financial coach who's on his own journey towards financial freedom and an early retirement. I started my own financial coaching business, Money Mastermind, as a way to connect with and empower other young entrepreneurs like myself, and really anyone who's starting to trek down that path towards financial freedom with the mindset, the habits, and the tools that you'll need along that journey. So I upload weekly videos all about my thoughts and experiences on my own journey in hopes of giving you some guidance for anyone who wants to follow along. So if that's you, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can stay posted. And if you watch this video and are like, wow, that was super cool, then do me a favor and hit that like button real quick so other people can think it's cool too. Without further ado, 3 crucial steps to becoming financially free. When it comes to money, your overall success really comes down to the way you think and behave when it comes to your wallet. So step 1 is to invest in yourself. This can take many forms, but ultimately you want to do a deep clean, so to speak, of your mindset and your habits when it comes to the way you manage your money. A couple books I would recommend: Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I'll put out a full list of the books that were most fundamental for me in my own journey, so stay tuned for that. But these 3 will get you moving in the right direction. They really display the mindset and the habits of someone who's successful with their money. You'll get a glimpse into what it looks like to win the game, and this will give you inspiration to get moving on making a plan for your own retirement and creating your own dream life. I'm going to start considering your habits surrounding money. What do you spend it on? When? And most importantly, why do you spend it? Money, whether we're aware of it or not, is almost always spent as an emotional response to something. So our mission is to figure out what that something is in order to control how we respond. This is one of the keys to habit forming, starting to understand why our current habits exist so that we can pick and choose new ones to begin to form. After all, whether we're aware of it or not, we oftentimes have a choice as to how we respond in most situations. Once you understand why you do what you do, you can focus more time on the areas of your life that bring more joy and less time and energy on the areas that are the exact opposite. Lastly, you'll need a basic understanding of personal finance, economics, and the different ways that are available to make your money work for you. You'll glean a lot of this from the books, but you'll want to do some of your own research on some of the ways that interest you in leveraging your money and building your wealth in terms of becoming financially free. If discipline, patience, accountability, or maybe just time are what you lack to really get going on building this mindset and those habits, then I would recommend working with a coach when the time is right. My door is always open if you want to talk, but there are tons of great coaches out there too. My contact information is in the description. You can even use my link to just put yourself on my calendar. Once you've built the foundation, step 2 is to really build the ultimate plan for financial freedom. This will be your secret formula for success, so cherish it as such. Sorry, I just thought of Plankton from SpongeBob. But basically what you're doing here is you're really defining exactly what financial freedom means to you so that you can start properly planning for it. You'll want to get uncomfortably specific here. This will start forcing you to see financial freedom from the lens of reality as opposed to fantasy. A couple questions you'll want to start asking yourself. What's your time frame? How much will you need to have saved? What ways are available to you or do you know of that you can use to save that money? You'll really want to have clarity of this goal if you want to achieve it. And you can even start breaking it down into yearly, monthly, and even daily tasks that you can take that move you in the right direction towards reaching that goal. You have to make sure that it's sustainable and somewhat reasonable for your situation. It's probably a little unreasonable to start saying,
hey, I'm gonna save $1 million a month.
Right? But on the other hand, you don't want to undershoot it either. So take your time when you're mapping this out and update it as many times as you need. You also want to really start considering the options you have to make this possible. I would consider looking into real estate because there's a lot of opportunity there, and also stocks, but it's up to you. The markets are a little crazy right now, as you know, which can make investing difficult, but that also means it's the perfect time to start learning and figuring out where you're going to put your money. If you're interested in real estate, I put out a video last week about the 5 most common and trusted ways to make money in real estate. So check out my channel or stay tuned to the end of this video to check out that. Once you have your mental foundation and your plan in place, step 3 is simply to execute. Your plan will be no more than an idea in your head or some ink in a notebook if you don't actually follow through with it. This is where making sure you stay accountable becomes really vital. I would suggest chopping this one big goal up into tons of little different bite-sized goals that you can accomplish even on a daily basis. That way you won't be nearly as overwhelmed. For example, my plan includes having 20 rental properties by the time I'm 35. Scary, right? How am I gonna save up enough money to buy 20 houses? Well, 21 if I want to live in one. Well, my next big step is to buy a duplex and house hack. If you're not familiar, house hacking is the practice of buying a multi-unit house and living in one of the units and then renting out the other unit or units. There are a couple advantages to this. First, you'll be getting rental income, which offsets some of the costs that you have of owning the house, like the taxes, the mortgage, the utilities, the maintenance, etc. So that'll free up my cash flow and allow me to save for my next property even quicker. Also, since I'll be living there for a couple of years, I can qualify for what's called an owner-occupied loan or mortgage. It's a different kind of financing. I can even get an FHA loan, which the advantages of that are you have a lower interest payment, and you can also put a much lower percentage as a down payment than if you were an investor. Investors have to put usually about 20% down on a property, but if you're going to be living there and you get an FHA loan, you can go as low, I believe, as 3.5%. I'm probably going to do about 10%, so I have a little bit more equity when I buy the house, and that my payments are a little bit lower going into it too. But doing a little bit of research, the houses that I'm looking at on the high end, like high end, are going to be about $350,000. So 10% of that, $35,000, plus a $15,000 buffer. There'll be closing costs, taxes. I might want to make a couple repairs. So all in all, my savings goal for the first property is $50,000. Now I break that down even further because I want to have 20 properties by the time I'm 35, right? I'm 23 now, so if I start at 25, then a pace of 2 per year will get me there. So I estimate I have to have $50,000 saved by 25. I have a decent amount of that put away already, and so doing some math, having a savings rate right now of $750 a month will very comfortably get me to that goal, if not a lot sooner than age 25. All I have to do is make sure that I'm able to pay myself first and put $750 into a separate savings account every month, and I'll be happily on my way. Which leads me to my next point. You'll want to develop a system to be able to keep track of your progress along the way and store this with your plan. Also, be sure to be adamant about updating it. I decided to make a collection of like budgeting templates, goal trackers and stuff like that to kind of keep everything in the same place in Google Sheets. That seems to work for me, but find a system that works for you. And all I do is spend no more than 30 minutes a month just sort of updating it and making sure all of my ducks are in a row. Other than that, I try my best to just not worry about it. Also, as time goes on, be flexible with yourself. Things are not going to go according to plan, and that is okay. Think of yourself as the pilot on your way towards your destination, which in this case is financial freedom. You have your plan, you have your route, you're off, you're in the air. So your job now is simply to make sure that you stay on course, you don't veer off and end up at some other airport or crash into a cliff. Go into this journey knowing that you will make mistakes. It's only natural. If you want to learn, open yourself up to these mistakes and allow yourself to fail forward. The way I like to look at it is this. When we make a mistake, it's sort of like taking a step backwards, or in some cases, taking a few steps backwards. happens. And really all we have to do to make sure that we're progressing and still moving forward in the right direction is to make sure that we take one step more forward than we do backwards when we make a mistake. So how do we do that? Well, a forward step could be, let's say, learning a lesson from the mistake, or maybe we change a part of our system to make it a little bit more efficient, or maybe our sphere of things that make us comfortable expands a little bit. Those are all examples of steps forward that we could take. So really the big picture is this: as long as you can focus more on the silver linings than you can the mistake itself, you'll be set. Where most people go wrong, in my opinion, is they put too much blame on themselves and they beat themselves up too much when they make a mistake, and they allow that to not try as hard or even not try at all sometimes out of fear of making a mistake or failing. It's that mindset of, well, I better do nothing or not try that hard because I could mess up or I could fail. And I hope you and I both see the sort of the flaws in this way of thinking, because you could succeed too. And if you don't succeed, if you make a mistake, then hey, that's an opportunity to learn for next time. It's all really a matter of perspective, and when it comes to being financially free, it's super important. So embrace the mistakes you make as they're simply a part of the process. And in my opinion, they're life's best way of teaching us what not to do. So to recap, if you want to be financially free, the 3 most crucial steps that you take are: 1, first invest in yourself; 2, make a plan for financial freedom; and 3, simply stick to it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me a message. And if you don't want to miss a weekly video like this one, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. The algorithm and I would also be super happy if you flicked your wrist to hit that like button real quick. It also helps out the channel because it lets more people see my videos. Oh, and I've got a question for you. What does financial freedom mean to you? Let me know down below. Since you made it to the end, here's your crisp high five. Till next week. Peace.